Hey everyone, I'm Jenna.
I'm Clint, and welcome to the Enchanted Parks and Ports podcast,
where we chat Disney, Universal, cruise lines, and beyond.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, Jenna, to the Enchanted Parks and Ports podcast. Exciting this week. We're going to do a little bit of we've done one other of these types of episodes, but a little different style. From the standpoint that we don't have a single dedicated main topic, we're going to go frequently asked questions.
Yeah, we're going to kind of hit a couple different areas, different things people are asking about. We also haven't conferred with each other on the frequently asked questions, so we'll see how this unfolds, and I'm sure we'll be able to kind of take you through our different brains as to how we would approach each one.
Yeah, because knowing the two of us for as long as we have, our listeners are like, yeah, this will be an episode where we get some very different perspectives on some, not huge things, but things that matter within the Disney ecosystem and universe. And so we're going to dive into that. I don't know. We'll do a fair number. We don't have something predetermined, but we'll get after it and kind of see what happens. But before that, we do have a little bit of news, and then we're going to throw a wrinkle in around Lightning Lane, and then we'll get to our main topic. So, Jenna, we've got some food news.
We have some snack news specifically. Maybe, I guess churro waffles, would they be considered a snack? But
it'd be an excellent snack in my opinion.
A morning snack. Anyway, we have some food news, which is some of our fan favorite Disney items that previously have been pretty exclusive to specific locations are expanding. We're getting some resort offerings that previously haven't been there, and I'm really excited about this because you don't need a park ticket to get these items anymore, which is churro waffles, which historically you've either needed a park ticket or a cruise to get churro waffles. So no small thing, not only a park ticket, but a reservation at Crystal Palace for breakfast. Like, they're not something you can find at every Mickey waffle spot.
No, you had to go full-on character dining to get there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you really had to invest in, I want my churro waffles, and I'm going to have to be very selective in how I get them.
Oh, totally. Or I have to get on a boat and go to the buffet the one day. This is actually an exception because I've often talked about how we never go to the buffet on a cruise until debarkation morning. We do send Lucas to get the waffles and bring it back to the veranda. So maybe that should count because we do enjoy these on a cruise.
I think it should have to count, and I think it's interesting that Lucas gets to be not only the churro waffle guy, but he's also the funnel cake guy.
Yeah, it's like the equivalent of like sending him hunting or something. I'm like, please come back and bring us waffles and coffee. This is what we need. But yeah, so churro waffles available at Disney's Caribbean Beach Resort out in Trinidad. Interesting. Probably slightly random and surprising for someone who discovered this. But in the poolside quick service that most people don't even know exists called Spyglass. You can get your
definitely elevates this as a quick service, obviously. I think what I do love about where they put this, because you might go, this is a really obscure location, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it's on the Skyliner. Like, if somebody really wanted to get their churro waffle fix, all you got to do is sacrifice yourself to a Skyliner ride, which I'm not feeling too sorry for you.
No, and I also feel like this is strategic to highlight Trinidad as a section at this resort, because often it's like, oh my gosh, Trinidad is so far. And we're not wrong that it's far from some things. Trinidad to Riviera is a hike, for example, but Trinidad to Skyliner is not terrible.
No, it's not terrible. And if you want to go and visit a resort and do something different, maybe you got a resort day going on, you need something adventurous to do, fill it with churro waffles.
Exactly. And if you're not going to fill it with churro waffles, you can fill it with cheeseburger.
My favorite.
The best. Cheeseburger spring rolls at a resort that you have a reservation for.
I do have a reservation. So Saratoga Springs, one of the resorts that has climbed my list of late. You know, I'm really excited about this particular resort stay. It's beautiful, close to Disney Springs, which I think is probably the one big win with this particular offering at Saratoga. The fact that I could be at Disney Springs doing the shopping and dining thing and stroll over to Saratoga and get cheeseburger spring rolls. I mean, these things should be getting crushed.
Yeah, this is amazing. And I also think also will highlight for people how walkable this location is to Disney Springs. So I suspect some strategy at play in highlighting these two resorts and specific resort areas too. But yeah, I'm thrilled. Like the chance to get cheeseburger or spring rolls on a rest day, I love that. I love that for me. I love that for you. I love that for everyone. So I'm thrilled about snack news. And we have other things changing in Lightning Lane world, kind of, sort of, not really. Like on paper, they're not changing exactly because you can still book what you could book before, but the strategy might be a bit different. So I know you wanted to chat a bit about that with listeners.
Yeah, I know we've talked with listeners just about what has changed and opened up. I mean, it closed, it opened, you know, some of it's been down for over a year. We're talking some very substantial refurbishments to certain rides. And so from that standpoint, we haven't really talked with listeners much about what are the potential Lightning Lane impacts of that. So as we think about Magic Kingdom, obviously we're talking Big Thunder Mountain and Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin. And so really, as I think about this in regard to Lightning Lane, two things happen for me. I think Big Thunder climbs very high, very quick to the top of the list for grabs. I mean, I was grabbing for some folks I'm supporting the other day, and some of the earliest you could get is like 8 o'clock at night. Depending on where it's located within the scope of your park days, right?
Yeah.
So this is one of those where maybe you used to grab a Space Mountain and Big Thunder was going to be available well into the afternoon.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good point. I remember grabbing like a 10 a.m. Big Thunder one time after checking into my first attraction. So that is not really the landscape right now because it's new and lots of people want to ride it for the first time, right?
I think the other thing, like with Buzz Lightyear in this particular park, this is one of those rides similar to Mania that we have talked about that just has real high re-ride availability, right?
Yeah.
And so from that standpoint, can you do the standby queue? You can. I think you're probably going to pay an extra 10, 15-minute price tag if you're just going through the regular queue. If you're going to put it in as part of your rope drop, that's a great way to do it. But again, for me, it's how do I get that second chance to see if I can beat the score that I got the first time?
Yeah.
Well, the Lightning Lane value on this thing is going to change because of that. And again, I think do I think it rivals Tier 1? No. But do I think it begins to rival, say, a Pirates of the Caribbean or a Haunted Mansion, one of those in where its standing is in that Tier 2, where those two were the automatic go-tos for your Tier 2s? I think Buzz now has to be in the conversation.
I actually think it's above those two, at least in my recent May experience. And it was so fresh when it came out in May still, so it's hard to say exactly how that will play out as the months go on. But yeah, no, even before Pirates and Haunted Mansion, we're seeing Buzz availability disappearing and great value and time savings. Like the waits for Buzz are not entirely short all the time right now, especially because people are loving the new system and realizing like it is more fun too. So people want to do it again because they feel like they can get a higher score. They know what they're doing this time. It doesn't feel like so much of like a point and see what happens, right?
It really is. And then I think we've got some other parks we've got to talk about because Hollywood Studios, while the most recent major opening is Animator's Courtyard with everything that's going on there. I mean, opening as of today when we're filming this particular podcast. But also, we have Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets very recently reopened. And I think this affects the park in two ways. One, absolutely it cannot but change the Lightning Lane landscape where Slinky Dog was the original go,
Yeah.
and then you're looking at a Mania, or not a Mania, a Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, or
Hmm.
something like that in regard to a second grab, whatever that looks like. I mean, Rock and Roller Coaster has to be now, in my mind, the number one in this park, which is dethroning Slinky Dog pretty easy. But not only do I think it changes your Lightning Lane grab, I think it changes your rope drop strategy.
Yeah, it does. It becomes more similar to Epcot where you can't reliably grab both, right? Similar to like Test Track, Frozen, Remy. You're not reliably getting more than one of those. I think that we start to see that at Hollywood Studios in a different way than we have before. Because I have many a times grabbed Slinky, followed by Mickey and Minnie's, followed by Smuggler's Run. We didn't actually ride it, we canceled it. But we did grab it just to see if I could. So anyway, it's like that is different now, I would say. And Rock and Roller Coaster, as it was an easy grab as well. And now I don't think it's going to be that way. I think you're going to also have to think about, I can probably grab one. So yeah, my rope drop becomes even more important.
Yeah, and I think for me, I would sacrifice Slinky Dog at rope drop to get Rock and Roller Coaster as long as I was a coaster oriented person, because my move would then be to do Slinky Dog last ride strategy
Yeah.
and get it at night, which is better anyway.
There you go. Like that seems to make sense to me. And I think that's going to change. Historically, Slinky Dog has been the hardest lightning lane to get at Walt Disney World, not even just at this park. So I think we're going to see that shaking up in the next little bit. And it's important for people to kind of track those changes if you have a trip coming up to know what to pick, right? Epcot, we it is not entirely off this radar either because we have the updates to Soarin' that for fans of Soarin', and Soarin' has its fan base, and myself included, Abby apparently included. This is a priority for people to choose as a tier two, especially, right? Because like we said, it's one of those that you're gonna get a long wait. She's not a really efficient loader of an attraction, and it's something new, so people want to see it.
Yeah, and I think people will definitely want to see this because they've seen Soarin' over California.
Yeah.
They've seen Soarin' across the world. You've got these other versions, and so why wouldn't you want to add Soarin' across America to your list of accomplishments on this ride? You
Yeah.
definitely do. So standby's going to go up. This is going to be that crusher ride in the tier 2 category
Yeah.
that everybody's going to want to grab. And it almost makes you think. I mean, Epcot has always been a priority park from the standpoint that your other rides draw a lot of attention, and so you've got to kind of figure, where am I going to put it in my order of parks?
Yeah.
Which park am I going to grab first? Some of those kinds of things as you're making those decisions in regard to Lightning Lane. These kind of things kind of change the dynamic where maybe you would have chosen a Magic Kingdom first, but now you're like, man, I may not get Soarin' if I don't choose it in my second slot as far as choosing Lightning Lanes or whatever it is, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then Frozen just is carrying more weight right now. I mean, Test Track has run its course largely. I think a lot of people still love it. I think it's fabulous. But the fact that the new animatronics are there elevated that one. I just think that, again, the old plays with Lightning Lane that were so routine
Yeah.
have been scrambled a bit. And I think, again, is there a wrong way to do this? We would tell our listeners, no. It's whatever your priority is
Whatever
for
you
your
want.
particular trip. But you're going to have to think about it and be strategic based on your priorities, because those priorities could quickly become somebody else's priorities.
And also be strategic again with Epcot. It's such a unique park in that it has the two entrances. So also where you're staying really impacts what you're picking too and how you're moving about the morning. I do think it gives Skyliner Resorts a bit less of an edge than they once had. Because before Remy's was like the hot ticket, that's the one that I want to rope drop, and then I'll grab Frozen maybe, and then I'm good. But now that we have Test Track, now that we have Soren, things are changing in the landscape at the front of the park a bit quickly. So that's our
Very
lightning
much.
ramble about things are changing. Pay attention. Things might be harder to get than you once expected.
All right, so we're going to do some frequently asked questions. Some of these things may
Hmm.
be obvious
Yeah.
for like regular Disney goers, but I think a lot of folks who also gravitate towards podcasts are newbies who are trying to figure it out. And so
Totally.
we're going to roll through some questions. I don't know, we'll spend 30, 40 minutes kind of hitting a few of these. We'll get through as many as we can, and whatever we don't, we'll save them for a future episode. But
Yeah.
Jenna, I know you've got a few, so let's start with yours and see where we go.
Okay, so I have one from our Instagram first, actually. I did throw it out today for followers if they
Okay.
wanted to submit a question, which we do occasionally. So follow us on Instagram at Enchanted Parks and Ports. And question was honest thoughts on the new Bluey thing at Animal Kingdom.
Okay, my honest thoughts?
Yeah.
I think this is genius. I mean,
Mm,
and the reason is right now in kind of the four park makeup,
yeah.
it feels a little bit like Animal Kingdom is an afterthought. I mean, it's got
Poor
some
Animal
great stuff,
Kingdom.
but with the amount of construction, I mean, the loss of Dino Land feels really significant at this park.
Yeah, right
And
now.
so,
Right now.
yeah.
Like she's coming. I promise, friends, but she's just in a little bit of a growing phase.
So the fact that they put this at Animal Kingdom and then also put it at Conservation Station, in my mind, that was genius.
Was it? Because this is where I have some asterisks on the Bluey is genius as a huge Bluey family. So tell me, why do you like it at Conservation Station?
Because I think it was a highly underutilized portion of the park for
Mm,
spreading people out.
yeah,
And so
that's
from
fair.
that standpoint, to me, you get an attraction in transportation. I mean,
Yes,
everybody
yeah.
loves riding the Disney Railroad, right? This is just a
Hmm.
different version of Disney Railroad.
With
And
Steve
so,
Irwin now, that was a fun surprise. Like no one had shared that that was happening until it happened, which I love. That's so fun.
yeah, it's wonderful. But I do really think that the only thing that Conservation Station really had going for it was the petting zoo. And for a lot of families, that honestly probably wasn't worth jumping on the train and riding
Yeah,
out there
yeah,
and using some of the time. But for me, it ends up being a great use of space and a great use of time because this is an attractor for families who have an affinity for Bluey and they're going to invest.
yeah. I have I love this asterisk, asterisk, see footnotes about this. So here's where I've landed because I've been following this very closely as a Bluey
Yeah,
passionate family. Also being like, do we need to plan a trip just for this? So
the answer would be yes.
the answer would be yes. But anyway, where I've landed is this is absolutely fabulous for the right family. And I think you have to know if you're the right family. And the right family is not necessarily just a family who loves Bluey. Hear me out. One is there's some logistics that need ironed out here with this one for certain families. Some families, they're not going to notice any of this. They're going to go, they're going to see Bluey and Bingo. It's going to be super magical and the best part of their day. They're going to get to interact with characters in a new way that they're not used to, and it's going to be so much fun, and core memories will be made. Love that. I also want to nuance for families who this might not be for. So, one issue with said train is you can't bring a stroller. This is important for
Yeah,
some
that's a good
families
point.
because you are now without your stroller. Hopefully, you brought a baby carrier or something if you have like tiny tinies, because yeah, stroller's not coming on the train, which means you also don't have it at the other end. And right now, this is not an unpopular attraction. The wait times that people are seeing are not always short when you get to the other side to get in the building. So you might be holding a baby that whole time. So just keep that in mind. Or your kiddo might be, like if your peak Bluey age, you might be a toddler who like needs a stroller also just for like containment purposes when you're waiting for 40 minutes or whatever it might be. And you don't have that. So that's like a bit of a tough one for some families, especially in the wait. So I will just preface with that so people know what to expect going into that. And then the other thing that would have been a hot mess for my family in a certain phase would go great now. But in a certain time period, Abby had a lot of trouble when she could see a character up ahead, but she couldn't meet them yet. Because the concept of lines is still forming, right? But I see Mickey up there and I'm here to meet Mickey. So, like, I'm melting down now because I really want to meet Mickey. You
For
actually,
sure.
for like, this makes sense, right? But with this show, you actually get let in kind of like a loading area, if you will. So you actually see the previous show, sometimes up to two or three times from you don't see the show properly, you don't fully participate, but you can see what's going on. You can see Bluey and Bingo playing with other kids, and you can't get to them. So this is just like a after kind of doing that trek, just know if that's going to work for your kid. Or if you're setting yourself up for like a moment of, oh no, now we're stuck watching this and they can't play yet. And then the other one is this isn't a meet and greet, right? So people just should know to expect that. We're not promising our kiddo like that Bluey will say hi to them. We're not promising our kiddo a photo with Bluey because it's an interactive play-based thing, which again, now Abby would thrive at this. She would dance while she's waiting for Bluey. She would jump into those games and be first one there. Um, if I had maybe like a more timid kid, who didn't want to get right into the middle of a game of keepy uppy with, a bunch of her new best friends, that might not go the same way that it would for my family. So I just think it is a bit of a like know thy child, know thyself with Bluey right now. That's my
Sure.
rant.
Great advice. I mean, I love all of that because without some of that being considered, you could turn something very magical into something that's a complete nightmare.
Right. And so it's just a matter of like, now we've dealt with virtual queues, so we take off that element of stress for people because it is just standby. But we just have to know like the layers of waiting and if that's going to make sense for you, or if it's one of those like, you know what? That actually doesn't make as much sense for my family. There's other things that would make our day better. Like I think it's a know thyself is my answer for how I honestly feel about Bluey.
So, speaking of making days better,
Okay.
I have one for you, my friend.
Okay, let's hear it.
And I think this is a core first question for
Mm-hmm.
all families wanting to go to the magic of Disney in Florida. And that is, how many days do I actually need for my trip?
For your trip, and this is a first trip, and like I
I
want to do
yeah,
Disney, right? I'm gonna say like my what I want for you is more time than less because it's going to result in a more laid back trip to have more time so you're not trying to cram things in. My minimum for you would be something like 6 nights. I don't know if you agree, but that's like minimum.
so as I thought about this question, that is exactly where I landed. But I want to
Yeah.
know your reasoning for it because I know what mine is.
Yeah.
But why do you choose that 6 night number? Because man, I can do it in 3 nights. I can
Sure.
do it in four. Like I can,
Yeah.
but why six?
Why six? Because arrival, departure day, we're leaving alone. We're settling, we're packing, we're doing what we need to do, which leaves us 2 park days, rest day, 2 park days. And that is the formula that I would like for you if this is your first trip, or even better, if you're open to kind of not full park days, I'm also fine with you having 5 park days and using that middle one as like a shorter park day to just have a more chill Magic Kingdom second day or something like that. Yeah, that is where I land on that. I'm curious your take if it's the same or separate reasons for 6 nights.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. I might choose to use my check-in day or check-out day differently. I'm
Yeah.
probably not going to try to use both of those.
Right.
Both of them would be a bit of a stretch, but I might work flights around in a way that
Yeah.
I can either fly in super early. I may not be rope dropping on that first fly in day,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna, get to a resort, dump my stuff, and as fast as I can get checked in, get my things met, and get onto a park, I may choose to do that. Which means I still get my rest day in the middle, like
Yeah.
you're talking about. 2 days, rest day, then maybe a 3-day run, something like that. The
Yeah.
reason is, I think for me, 6 nights is the minimum because really what I want, and you mentioned this by saying sneaking in that second Magic Kingdom day, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
going to automatically anoint Magic Kingdom as that second day because it's not everybody's favorite park. Some people
Yeah.
love Epcot beyond all other
That's
or
true.
Hollywood Studios,
Yeah.
right? I think for me, it is about, especially if I'm new to Disney, I want to get an opportunity to understand the learning curve in the first 2 days, right?
Right.
Run the app,
Yeah.
know how the systems work, know how the transportation works, know how
Yeah.
the parks themselves function, right?
Yeah.
And then I want 3 really high quality days
Where I know
where
what I'm
probably
doing. Yeah. It's like the
where
equivalent with a cruise where like you know how to get to your room now. Like you know how to get around these parks, right?
and where your favorite lounge is and some of that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like I can really maximize my time. Imagine that coming from the efficiency guy.
Right.
But with that said, those last 3 days, and I get to double whatever my favorite park
Yeah.
is really important to me. And I understand that that extra 2 nights, whatever it is going to be a cost. It's probably going to be less on the room side. And the other thing is, by adding the fifth park day, your cost per day goes down. I mean, I'm doing total Disney math here, right?
Yeah.
But the rooms aren't going to kill you unless you're staying deluxe. I mean, if
Right.
you're staying moderate, lower end moderate, you're staying value, something like that. I mean, yeah, you're probably talking $400 for 2 extra nights, something like that if you're staying All-Star. And then you throw the park ticket on top of that. So if I get a full extra park day that I get to maximize as a knowledgeable Disney goer,
Right.
that's a win.
Yeah. No, I hear the kind of like there is a settle in period, right? For me also with young kiddos, like I got a budget for someone hitting a wall at some point. And just all of a sudden being like, you know what, we could try and force through this, or we could go to the splash pad and actually like reset. But then maybe I missed out on something that I wanted to do or whatever it is. So I gotta like budget for a little bit of wiggle room. It can't be a down to the minute itinerary as much as some parts of me would appreciate that. But it can't, right? So I hear all that. I think that makes we're on the same page for slightly different reasons, but a 6 night intro minimum. If you can stay longer, I'd love that for you. But if you can do 6 nights, we can make that work in a way that I feel really confident that we have enough Disney time. Right?
Yeah, agreed. Completely agree.
Yeah.
All right. Question
Okay.
number 2 from Jenna. What do we got?
Ready? Your next trip that's planned. Tell us a little bit about what you have next personally.
What I have next personally?
Yeah.
Okay. It's interesting because my next trip is a June trip. It's purely a weekend trip. We're flying out on a Friday, like late, getting in super early on Saturday. In fact, we're probably relying on whatever sleep we can get on the plane as being that rest, right?
Oh my
And
goodness.
oh no, this is full on like go mode. And then we're gonna get to the resort. We're staying at Music. We'll drop our stuff, kind of like I just described. We're
Yeah.
headed to the park. This is the advantage when you finally become a Disney annual pass holder. You just say yes a lot more.
Yeah.
And so we've got that one lined up. We've got 2 more days in the park. On
Right.
the fourth day, kind of the checkout day, again, we did, and I don't know how this is going to play, but we put the flight pretty late so we can
Yeah.
at least get part of a park day on that last day. And so, we'll end up being in 3 out of the 4 parks. We're not going to go to Animal Kingdom. I think we're going to do Magic Kingdom twice, just
Yeah.
because you do,
I've
right? I
converted
mean,
you effectively, or what is it
well,
here?
it's my favorite park. I mean,
Same.
I love Magic
I
Kingdom
no conversion
above
needed.
all else. And it's just a matter. And here's what I love: is it's just going to be Terry Ann and I, right? This is full on
Nice.
adult trip.
Yeah.
What I love better than that, and you kind of talked about it last, is this wasn't my idea. I was
Yeah.
not looking at the Juneteenth holiday weekend, because we take all federal holidays because we're associated with a federal installation. And so as part of that, like, my wife planned this one, which is fabulous.
That's amazing. Did she have anything that she was like, we're gonna go to Disney and do this? Like this is a thing that she's really looking forward to.
I don't think so. I mean, I think honestly, it's one of those things that it's been a while since we've had kind of just an escape kind of
Yeah.
vacation. And I
Yeah.
think for both of us, we unapologetically admit that Disney is the one place where you just show up and your brain turns off. There's so much
Yeah.
other stimulation, so much other stuff going on, that if you want complete escapism, that's where we go, just because that's
We do it.
100% what we get.
Yeah. I love that. So it's more of it doesn't even matter what we're doing, it just matters where we're doing it,
Yep,
right?
completely.
That's awesome. And it's like a celebratory trip for you because you're like actually activating your annual pass. It's a thing now,
It
right?
will be a thing, and
I
a
also,
thing that I think we're going to wear the corners off of.
yes, I hope you track how many days you use. Does your pass do that for you? Or like this is something you would have to keep track of? I'm
I think
curious.
I've got to keep track of it. I don't know if there's some mechanism. Right now, I know minus the Run Disney event we're trying to line up, it's 26 is what is at least reserved right
That's
now.
not bad. That's not
No, it's
bad.
not bad.
I'm super curious for you to report back to the podcast after this experience of doing both an arrival day and a departure day park day, because this is something we chatted about even on our last trip, where I said, like, I am adamant that I will always choose departure park day compared to arrival if I get the choice. So I'm curious in the same trip doing both, how you experience that and what you think. So,
Yeah, and see,
yeah,
I've never done either because I've always been a little more on the want to maximize side,
right.
right? And I'm not going to pay $120
Yeah,
for a day I only get part of. Where
right.
now, man, if I can get 3 hours in the park,
Why not?
it just works.
Whereas, like for a lot of Canada resident tickets, the fourth day it either brings you, depending on the offer, brings you cheaper than 3 days, or it brings you like to right around the same pricing. And so for a lot of clients I support, there is this like, oh, do we do for shorter trips, people that are planning that, do we do an arrival or a departure day? And so I am curious to hear your thoughts because I've landed on mine, but I want to hear yours from even like an efficiency perspective where you go. But yeah,
Yeah, I look forward to
awesome.
it for sure.
That's great. Okay, what do you have next?
Okay, the next one, and this is one I get a lot from folks that I'm supporting and people who ask questions. I mean, maybe they've got a trip booked already and they're just like, hey, what about this thing? And that thing is a magic band.
Yes.
And do I really need one?
Yeah, I think I talk about magic bands with every single client and have a similar conversation, especially for first-time clients. Okay, so my answer is, do you functionally need one? No. You can do all the same things with, this is how dramatic I am about it. I just hit the mic. So sorry if there's some some sound quality effects there. But you can do all the same things with a card and a lanyard. I do think if you're a parent, you need a lanyard at the very least, like even a dollar store one or something, just so you're not dealing with the magic mobile phone shenanigans. I know technically you can even do that, but I don't want you to have to. That sounds really stressful. You can do it all with your key to the world room card, right? You can do all the same things functionally, but is it really nice to have? Yes. It is so nice to be able to just tap your wrist and have all of these functions, right? To unlock your resort room, to do the lightning lane thing, to get your park ticket that way, to charge things to your room. That is dangerously easy. I particularly like also not having to bring my wallet to the pool. Like I'm wearing this magic band, I'm good. I can get back into my room. I can leave my wallet in the safe. I can charge something at the pool bar if I want to my magic band and they're waterproof and I move on with my day. So what I often say to people is if you're sure this is your one and done Disney, maybe not. But if you're ever going to come again, if you're ever going to get value out of this again, or you're ever going to do any other Disney thing, Disneyland Resort, Disney Cruise Line, just buy the Magic Band and don't be like us and lose them in between.
I am very similar to you, Jenna. Absolutely. My value proposition on this is not what the band does because you
Yeah.
described it. There's tons of other ways to do this,
Yes.
right? I often suggest use your phone. Magic Mobile, can it be glitchy at times? It can, but it works for the most part most of the time. Back that up with a set of the cards that you get for free at the
Yeah.
resort. I mean, they'll give them to you, the little RFID, scan it.
Hmm.
It's great. Use that as a backup.
Yeah.
That is my go-to recipe for families who are like, man, predominantly this is going to be a one and done.
Yeah.
I'm like, because here's what I would prefer. And I don't know that this totally maths, but I'm going to say Magic Band on average, $50,
Sure.
right? I mean,
Yeah,
somewhere
that
in that
sounds
zone.
right. Yeah.
Then let's talk just standard family of four. So buying Magic Bands, $200.
Yeah.
Extra night in my vacation,
Mm.
right? I mean, we were just talking about what's the number of nights that's
Mm.
available. If I take that 200, now I've got an extra night on my vacation. I can throw a resort day in. Like I open up
Yeah.
some options. So if the budget is forcing us to be choosy,
Yeah.
then I'm gonna choose time, resort, those kinds of things over something that I may use this trip. Again, to your point, if I know I'm going on a Disney cruise here in 6, 8 months a year, now my value proposition starts to change. If I'm like, man, there's a chance that my kids, we might do this every other year for a year or two. Now my value proposition changes. But if you're really sure that maybe this is a once in a lifetime trip, put the money someplace else.
Yeah. Yeah, that's essentially where I land with people too. And I will say it's interesting if you are a Disney family, though. It's interesting the rite of passage turning 3 and getting a magic band becomes because Abby clocked like that this trip I get a magic band. And she was ready. Like she was like, I have to tap the card now, which is what your Mickey watch does, which is what she says. So
Yeah.
can I get a Mickey watch? And like she was on it. Like this girl has noticed because she used to just tap her sweet little 2-year-old wrist without anything on it, just to be included, right?
Yeah.
Because it is like for Disney families, I don't know, like a rite of passage thing. So it's interesting that is how that goes. But yeah, on Disney Cruise Line, she used her magic band again for the Oceaneers Club. So even that has some value, right? Because otherwise you get out their Oceaneer band to sign in. So again, it's possible without your own, but then don't be like me and forget to return it and get charged the $25 and all of these things, right? So just get your magic band if you think you're gonna do this more than once. Okay. I have an interesting one for you, and I don't know if you're going to have an immediate answer or not. What is So oftentimes people talk about this online, and this is sometimes a question I get of like, are there any secret spots at Walt Disney World that I should know about?
Okay, so I had a similar question.
Okay.
So I'm going to take your secret spots and I'm going to
Yes.
expand it slightly because
Sure.
the one that I had was, is there quiet,
Yes.
secluded portions of the park where I can find some sanctuary in a very
Right.
busy place?
Yes.
Because that's kind of what I think when I hear this question,
Yes.
right? Is
Yeah.
I need an escape.
Right. I need my escape route to be clear. Yeah.
And so I do have some actually
Okay.
because
Let's hear it.
um and I know kind of where this is. I'm when I was doing this earlier, I was like, what's the exact name of this? But it's in Tomorrowland at the launching pad. There is a
Yeah.
section of that building where you've got the quick service dining location that is outdoor seating,
Yes.
but it is fully air conditioned outdoor
Mm,
seating.
interesting. I don't know if I've really like utilized that.
I haven't either, but I know it exists because it
Fascinating.
catches a ton of airtime with the All Ears crew.
Right.
This is a space that they rave about often when they're filming their content, they're doing their little
Yeah.
talks, those kinds of things. Because A, I've never been there and I've been going to Disney for a decade, right? This
Yeah.
tells you how kind of off the map this place is.
Right.
And I'm not sitting in the Florida heat.
Yeah.
Come on. Like that is so good. So again, if you and it's central to one of the most prominent lands in Magic Kingdom in that it's sitting
Right.
right in the middle
Yeah.
of Tomorrowland.
Oh, absolutely. Interesting. Well, try that out for June. Put it on the list.
I'm going to for sure. I think the other one is one that you and I have shared
Yeah.
and I
Which one
think
is?
has become more known,
Mm.
and that is upstairs Columbia Harbor
Ah.
House.
Yeah. And I will say on our last trip, it didn't feel empty, right? Like people were there, but it is quieter. Even just the way sound bounces around and stuff, like it is quieter there. That's a good one. Um, I really love the tables behind the Christmas store, like right over the bridge in Adventureland. It's not empty typically, but I've never waited long for a table if I have to wait at all. And it's shaded.
Yes, shaded, secluded, like out of the way, all of the
Yeah.
things that you would want. I mean, the only thing it's missing is if it had some electric power, it'd be brilliant, right?
It'd
You
be,
got a little spot that
oh,
you can hide, plug in your phone, it would be amazing.
yeah.
And so this is actually a spot that, again, on our last trip, was it had I been to the Christmas store? Sure, a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Had I ever connected that space with grabbing food at like Sleepy Hollow or one of these others
Right.
that's super close and rolling back there? Not even on the radar.
And it's fabulous. Like the tables are there, shaded, perfect for a stroller nap spot. So we have many a times had a sleeping child in a stroller and gone to grab cheeseburger spring rolls and sat at those tables, right? So that is, yeah, that's one of my favorite. Or the resorts nearby have some really good kind of like, and we're mostly talking Magic Kingdom right now, but you could do this with various parks and resorts, right? But I will say the resorts often have these little quiet nooks. Like I'm thinking at Polynesian, even the Island Tower beach area, I've never really seen that populated. So to stroll over there and just get a little moment out of the way, right? Or the observation deck at Contemporary Resort. Fabulous spot to hide away. As long as it's not near fireworks, then that place is bumping. But if it's midday, go look at the castle and sit by yourself on this porch with your little coffee or whatever you need, right? Like that is a fabulous spot too.
My other one, and I'm going to jump outside of Magic Kingdom for
Yeah,
just a
yeah,
second.
yeah.
I've got two. So
Okay.
one of them, and this is going to be interesting to see come June because with now Animators Courtyard being open, some of those kinds of things, the old animation studio that was on
Mm-hmm.
in Hollywood studios
Yeah.
where you'd walk in and there was the seating in the entrance and some of that kind, that was always a fabulous escape. That A,
Right.
it's air conditioned, B, there's great
Yeah.
entertainment, great kind of, visual effects going on, some
Yeah.
of those kinds of things. I used to love that one. I don't know what that's going to be like in the new space. I hope it's
Yeah.
still very similar because it was a brilliant escape. They kind of put this together for parents in that mode of a
Hmm.
space to take young children.
Yes.
So we'll see, but I think there's possibility and hope for that one.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I also think Potato Land is actually a good little hideaway spot for a second too, right?
It is. If you want just a spot to sit on the floor and take a
Just
minute and,
exist for a
you know,
second.
agreed. That's a great one. My other one is at Epcot.
Yeah.
And that is right across from the pavilion, like the indoor pavilion where you go Three
Yeah.
Caballeros, you're going to San Angel, yeah,
Yeah.
you're going to go get your margarita, all of that kind of stuff. Right there, across on the kind of waterfront side,
Yes.
there is a snack stand.
Yes.
There's
Oh, I
a
know what
quick
you're about
service
to say. Yeah.
location right there. I think it's San Angel something else,
Yes,
right?
but it's like there's a little gazebo, pavilion-y.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah, yeah,
A good bit of outside seating, but everybody sees the outside seating.
yeah.
Here's the thing. There are a set of two double doors
Yeah. Yes.
right next to that outside seating
Yeah.
with a sign that's about a foot by a foot square that typically says something like open until 2:15.
Right.
Well, it begs the question, what is
Right.
open till 2:15? And it is an inside air conditioned padded booth, the
Yeah.
whole thing, seating area that after 2:15 operates as a restaurant.
Yeah. No, that is such a good hack. And it's one of those no gatekeeping on the podcast, but also I hope no one else finds that because it's a lovely little hideaway. So
It
it's
is incredible.
Yeah, it's a good one at Epcot. I will say also Epcot another one that I like is in the Canada Pavilion. Just some of the like walking trails kind of near the waterfalls. That's a really quiet kind of hideaway spot if you just need like a sensory reset. Also, it's beautiful. I'm not sure it like
Yeah.
screams Canada as I know it to me, but hey, it's a beautiful spot to be. So might as well.
Well, and one of the things that always surprises me is with the kind of way that space is built, you would swear it's air conditioned. Right? The water
Just the
bumping through
water.
there, some of
Yeah.
those kinds of things just cools the area off.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it's a great spot to, yes, you get some other noise, you get some other rhythms, you get a chance to slow down, and from a temperature standpoint, considerably cooler.
And it's also like built-in sound machine. So amazing if you're trying to find a napping spot at Epcot.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
I think
So
you're
since we
up.
comboed that one, I will jump in on the next one.
Yeah.
And this is one I have zero background with.
Okay.
So I am going to completely rely on you, my friend.
Let's hear it.
How do I navigate the parks with a stroller or ECV scooter? Like, what does that look like for a family? Because, we get a lot of multi-generational kinds of trips going, which means you could have both.
Yeah, we had both in May. Right? And it's one of those it's a little hard to succinctly say how you can navigate it, but my tips would be, or general insights would be, there are areas in each of kind of the main lands near attractions where you can park your stroller. Your stroller can be moved within that area to like shimmy the strollers, fit all the strollers, accommodate the strollers. So you're going to be, in terms of how you actually navigate, you're going to be parking your stroller, doing nearby attractions, climbing back in the stroller, and going to the next stroller parking area, doing attractions in that area, in theory. One thing you're going to have to avoid at Magic Kingdom is the trolley tracks for both scooters and wheelchairs and strollers. They are a hazard to just humans walking, but they, especially with strollers, it actually took out one of our stroller wheels on the last trip, and fortunately Lucas was able to save it. But it's like a thing that can happen. So just avoid those trolley tracks. Don't try and like make it work. Just go to the sidewalk, live your life there. And then with scooters and or wheelchairs, it will depend on whoever is using them, their mobility in terms of how you navigate different attractions. But cast members are amazing at initiating, coming up to you and saying, "Hey, are you comfortable transferring? Here's the options for this attraction. Yes, you can take it through the queue. We'll move this to the exit of the attraction." Or, "Okay, in this case, we'll actually have you come this way," or whatever it might be. So with the stroller or with the wheelchairs and scooters, there is parking areas similar to the strollers. It's separate from the strollers, but cast members will let you know what to do. So just roll up to the attraction and see how they're directing people and go from there.
Yeah, and as you say, when in doubt, ask a cast
Yeah,
member,
they
figure
know.
those things out. I think the other thing, unfortunately, for families with either of these things is I think you're demanded a little different level of patience in the
Yes.
parks
Yeah.
than are your families who are not using these things, right?
Yeah.
Because largely people are very willing to walk out in front of
Mhm.
either of these objects.
And I have to remind myself when I'm like pushing the double stroller and someone walks out right in front of it, and I need to take a breath and remind myself that this person is maybe in the middle of the best day of their life and they're just not paying attention. Or they're in the middle of a really stressful moment trying to make magic for their kids and they're just not paying attention. Like they are not purposely trying to get in my way. And that actually helps. So I offer that to you, fellow double stroller parents trying to navigate this. Just remember where we are and the fact that, like, there's a lot of emotional attachment. People just aren't as aware of their surroundings in that scenario, right? My one other tips is transportation. So you can bring your stroller, you can bring your scooter or wheelchair on any of Disney transportation. How you load and unload will depend on that transportation. For buses, you need to fold that stroller. And this is an important tip actually, for your mobility devices, you need to pull up to wherever the mobility device loading area is. So there were a couple times in our trip where my mom was kind of hanging back, but the problem is then they don't know that you need to load, and it actually kind of throws off the bus loading system. So you actually do need to pull up to the area that's labeled for mobility devices, and they will help you accordingly. So yeah, look for that area. It's usually marked quite clearly on the pavement.
All right, let's each do one more. So what
Sounds
is your
good.
next best question? What do you got?
All right. Um, Somebody says to you, "What is the best Disney Cruise Line ship?" I just want to go on the best one. What's the best Disney Cruise Line ship?
I think again, this is going to be one of those things that is very contextual.
Yeah.
I think it largely needs to be driven by what are your Disney interests
Mm,
and what is the makeup of your party that's going on it, right? Because
yeah.
if it's a adults only situation, I'm probably choosing one way. If
Yeah.
it's family of four, very much into princesses or into Marvel or any of these things, I'm choosing very differently,
Yeah.
right? Because
That's
to
fair.
me, now I'm not worried. When you ask this question, I'm not worried about itinerary.
Yeah. Because
What
they're
I'm
asking
worried
about the
about,
ship. Yeah.
yes. So from that standpoint, if I'm going predominantly adult leaning, maybe it's not even adults only, but it's
Yeah.
adult leaning.
Sure.
I'm Dreamer Fantasy,
Yeah.
hands down, bar none, takes it all the way to the bank,
Yeah.
no question. I think with kids, it's one of those things because often families are choosing Disney Cruise Line because they're starting out by taking their kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which means I think right now the choice becomes, is it Treasure?
Mm-hmm.
Is it Wish? Or
Mm.
is it Destiny? And
Yeah.
I think each of those has enough of their very own personality
Yes.
to say, what's the draw for the kid? If it's princesses, man, we're crushing the Wish. If
Yeah.
it's Marvel, those kinds of things, the Destiny is no question.
Right.
So I think this isn't a cut and dry answer. I mean, honestly, if you had to pin me down and say, choose one ship that
Yeah.
you're going to put any client on and you're
You
never going
don't
to
even
question it.
know them. Just put them on a ship.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
if somebody's rolling the dice and
Yeah.
saying, Clint, you're going to pick it right now, like blindfolded, not knowing this family, I'm still choosing the fantasy.
Yeah, interesting. And I think I would too because I'm playing the odds of the adults here. But the treasure is my next up because you're getting a bit of the vibe, if you will, of the wish or the destiny as well with the treasure. Because you're getting the princess in the Moana show and Princess Fairy Tale Hall. Is it called Princess Fairy Tale Hall? That's a Magic Kingdom. What is it called in the Oceaneers Club? It might also be Princess Fairy Tale Hall.
Yeah, I don't know 100% for sure, but it's definitely something like that.
The princess area in the Oceaneers Club, like you're still getting that on the treasure. You still have some of the princess themed rooms even on the treasure, right? Depending on the story that you're picking as kind of the main art. So I'm tempted to say that but then you still get the adventure edge of the Destiny, right? You still get the Haunted Mansion parlor. You still get the Superhero Academy in its fullest. So there's some of those things that I really like, and the ship is just really pretty. The colors are beautiful. It feels elegant, and it has 7 night sailings, which like that is the correct number of nights on a sailing. So I would say the treasure if you made me pick, maybe the fantasy if I had no idea who the clients were and maybe they had no kids.
Yeah. All right. Final question. We
Yes.
have not talked merchandise.
Oh, okay, yes.
So interesting enough. So I buy a souvenir, right?
Yes.
And maybe it's a shirt because often many of the places that I'm buying clothing, I'm guessing at size. I might be throwing it
Yes,
over
yeah.
something. I might be doing that. And it could be short order. I like, man, this one's too small. This one's too big.
Mm-hmm.
Or I bought a set of ears only to find out that there's a stitching issue, those kinds
Yeah.
of things. What are some things that you advise folks around merchandise that you're like, don't do these things or do these things as it pertains to the purchasing of merchandise, worrying about quality, accuracy, some of those kinds of things?
Okay, so I'm gonna start actually with the cruise line because I have more merch tips there, which is the stores are only open when the boat is sailing. They are not open in port, but as soon as they open, when the ship starts sailing, it's a good idea to go get whatever merch you have your eye on if there's something in particular because they do run out of sizes. They're on a boat. They can't restock as easily. They can't pull stock from other places, right? So I do just kind of give more of a nudge to clients of don't leave it to the last day of your sailing if you're looking for something in particular, right? At the parks, I would say a couple things about merchandise. I would say one is you can try things on and return them. That is a thing you can do.
It is a thing.
100%. People don't think about it that way for some reason, but that is a thing you can do. The other thing I would say is keep your receipts because should something break, not fit, immediately rip, like all of these things, Disney might be able to help you out with that too. So go talk to a cast member and see what they can do with that. Including we had a balloon purchase on our last trip. I don't know if I've told you that balloons are on our like do not buy list, but Abby had birthday money from grandma. So you better believe she bought a balloon because she's a genius. And it popped.
Oh,
It popped. We went on an attraction. We came back. It had just gotten so hot, like
yeah.
attached to the stroller, that the balloon just gave up. Right. And they happily replaced that. So just bring your popped balloon back. You don't even need a receipt in this case because you're saying, here is my popped balloon. Disney, help me. And they are happy to replace it accordingly. So, yeah,
I'm going to throw in one more piece of advice.
please do. I'm intrigued.
And this is a big one, literally.
Okay.
And that is, for some reason on the face of this planet,
Yes.
Disney has decided that merchandise products need a label and tag that you would find on your mattress.
Right.
Right? This thing is
This is
six,
true.
8 inches long.
Yes.
It's 2 inches wide. It's
Yeah.
attached to your ears. It's attached to your
I
cap.
know.
Like, whatever. And I am like, so I think the desire from a wearability standpoint is this thing has to come off.
Yes.
Like in some way,
Yes.
I gotta go find a pair of scissors, City Hall,
Sure.
wherever, and I gotta get rid of this thing.
Yeah.
Buyer beware.
Okay. Because you can't return it.
After you take that tag off, no matter the issue, it is yours.
Ah, that is good to know. Although I will say, Abby will, and this is like hard for my Beanie Baby collecting 90s baby soul, but Abby will immediately ask for tags off at a register. Like she got her I Was Brave stuffy from Clint and immediately was like, hey, can you cut the tag off? Because she
Yep.
doesn't
And
want
then if
the
there's a
8-inch
stitching
tag.
problem
Yeah.
or any of those other things,
Yeah.
done,
Don't roll the
right?
dice, but just know that you're rolling the dice on that one. Yeah, that's a good tip. That is.
Because they are. I'm like, who made this decision? I don't know. It seems
Yeah.
like a cheap anti-theft device. I don't be. You can't hide these things because it's like, I don't know, a wedding dress, trailing behind you.
Yes.
Because it's so big. It's like this is ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. It is comical. The ears, especially. Like, what are you supposed to do with that?
My daughter wraps it around, so then it looks like she's got a donut or something on the side of her ear. It is ridiculous until
Yeah.
you're sure that they are what they're supposed to be, right?
Right. Right. Okay, let's trivia and wrap it up.
All right, so let's do a little trivia here, and let's see what we've got. So I've got to go back and find it real quick. Okay, so I asked for some more modern trivia, right?
Okay.
Because we've done this for a while, and we
Yes,
continue to get the throwback.
Yes,
So,
yes.
all right, question number one, and it's all right. Question number one. What Magic Kingdom attraction, which opened in June 2024, they should have just left it right there, but then they gave the rest, replace Splash Mountain.
Replace Splash Mountain. Well, that would be our favorite ride in my family, which is Tiana's Bayou Adventure.
Yes, and that picture of Abby in the front, like I think it was front seat,
Yeah.
and her face on the drop
All
was
smile.
classic. I loved it. I'm not even looking at the answer on that one. It is absolutely flat. Splash Mountain. That is just like, come on, AI, give us a little bit. All right. Question number two. What reimagined Frontierland show officially debuted on July 17th, 2024, featuring Disney songs performed in various country music styles?
With adorable critters that are performing. So this, interestingly, was one of Lucas's requests for our last trip. This made like his top picks.
It's
The
great.
show.
I've
It's
done it a
great.
couple of
It's
times
so
now.
good. Yeah. Which is Clint.
Country Bear Musical Jamboree. It's just the new
Absolutely.
overlay for that.
Yeah.
But I think were there some nostalgic historical songs that people were probably attached to? Yes. Those people were no members of my family.
Sure.
Right? But the fact that now you get like Disney IP music done in a country
Amazing.
way that you can
Oh.
identify, it's so good.
It's so good. It's like, I love it. I think it's a highlight at Magic Kingdom, and I will die on that hill.
All right, we're taking a trip back to Tiana's Bayou Adventure.
Oh, okay. We're really like Frontierland heavy.
We
this
are
trivia,
Frontierland
eh?
heavy on this one. In the story of the new Tiana's attraction for Tiana's Bayou Adventure, what type of celebration is Princess Tiana preparing for when the guests are on their adventure?
Oh,
So why are they getting a band?
yeah, why are they getting a band? I'm trying to think. There's something. She's gathering a band. There's a celebration.
I believe it's a birthday party.
A birthday party.
Yep, I think it's a party. I think it's a birthday party.
It could be a birthday party. I want to say it's like some kind of festival.
So you're going festival, I'm going birthday party.
Yeah, let's go with that.
All right, let's see what happens with this. So we're just going to fast forward past the first Tiana Bayou Adventure because that's a given. We're going to fast forward past Country Bear Musical Jamboree, and we're going to go straight to... Oh! Really?
What is it?
Wow. Okay. Let's just break this down now that I've seen the answer. Okay.
Uh-huh.
It's in Louisiana.
Oh,
It's
Mardi
in
Gras.
the Bayou. It is Mardi Gras. Wow, that was a whiff.
Anyone in Louisiana right now is like, guys?
Yeah, they're like, seriously? Okay, 2 out of 3. And the 2 were give me's. So
Yeah,
the
yeah,
one real question we missed. So, all right,
fair.
we're going to close it out for this week. So, Jenna, this has been fun. I hope our listeners have gotten some things out of these frequently asked questions, a little bit more information on where they can find cheeseburger spring rolls,
Yes.
or how to better use their lightning lanes.
Right. Yep.
So, for this week, let's remind listeners of where we're at on social media.
Yeah, at Enchanted Parks and Ports on Instagram, or you can listen to the podcast on all the places, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube even, if you want to see our faces. Yeah, come be part of the conversation online with us.
Yeah, like, subscribe, jump in there, leave us some comments, all those kinds of things. Apple 5-star podcast review, hugely helpful in regard to supporting the podcast. So, Jenna, for another week, let's remind listeners...
Adventure is out there. Bye, friends.